I'm Makia.
I'm Ashley.
And we're sisters addicted to Asian dramas and music.
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
And welcome to podcast number
22.
Or is it 21?
So I'm like, what?
Because you were just sitting at 20. I know it's not 20.
20. You didn't let me finish one.
Whatever. You were sitting there looking at me. Whatever.
I was ready for you to correct me like you always do.
No, because you were getting it right for a while and then we messed up.
Even when I get it right, you're like, oh, she got it right today.
Because you were messing up
you
for
can't
a
just
while.
let me have it.
I know, whatever. 21. So it's podcast 21, guys. Anyway, this is our K-drama podcast. So we will be talking about some new drama news that we are super excited about that we found out this week.
Right.
Radio romance and a little bit about our on hold drama list that we have between each other. So we'll kind of play the game / discussion-ish, if you want to say.
Right.
Whatever. But anyway, we'll start off with the lovely drama news that got us super, super excited this week because we found out some of our fave actors and actresses are coming back to Dramaland after
having a
years
hiatus.
of break. Right.
You know, you go on hiatus, you expect people to back soon. They took a sabbatical.
Right. These two always take sabbaticals. The actor and the actress that we're going to talk about took sabbaticals all the time between dramas.
Right.
And we love them so much, so it's a bit frustrating, but we know every time they come back, we going to love them.
Right.
So the first one is Han Ji-min.
Yay!
Woo! The last time she did a drama was Hi Jekyll Me. We will not discuss that. We're not going to go there.
Did we talk about Hi Jekyll Me on
We
here?
did in past podcasts about how it really wasn't them, it was the writing for that drama.
Right.
Because Han Bin and her both did very well in that drama, acting wise to me.
Right. It was wasn't the best writing.
Right. So she's going to be in a drama with Ji-sung, who was in Defendant, Secret.
Yeah, most people know him from
Kill Me, Heal Me.
Yeah, Kill Me, Heal Me.
He's more known to fame for that, but I've known him from other dramas way before that.
Before that, but he gained popularity with newer drama watchers.
With Kill Me, Heal Me.
Yeah.
So the name of the drama I don't think has been confirmed yet. It is, it's from the writing team that wrote Weightlifting Fairy, Oh My Ghostess, which both of those I loved, and High School King of Savvy, which I heard was good, but I have not watched it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on my favorite network, TVN. So I'm looking forward to it. It's supposed to be a time slip type of story, but they're supposed to be playing a married couple.
It's supposed to be called Wife I Know. Isn't that what it is?
But that's what I'm saying. It's not confirmed. It's like tentative title.
A working title.
Right. So, and they're supposed to be playing a married couple, and supposedly something makes them end up going separate ways. I don't know. The synopsis is kind of
vague.
Right. So, I think, I'm not sure exactly when it's supposed to start airing. I think it's not till summer, if I remember correctly. It doesn't really give a whole lot of details, like I said.
They just got wind of Han Ji-min and Ji-sung.
Right.
And they're like, oh, what? Ears perk up.
Right. All it says is that it'll be broadcast on TVN later this year. So, hey, I'm excited that she's coming back to Dramaland because she does so well. But she does a lot of movies in between her dramas.
She does. She used to do a little bit more dramas, but in the past 5 or so years, she's done a lot of movies. Right.
But I noticed that with a lot of the older actresses that they kind of do dramas sparingly and do movies more so now, and more of the younger actresses are doing dramas and not necessarily
They kind of build up a repertoire and then they go into movies.
Right.
But then, I feel like the ones that go straight into movies and then come into dramas later on are more experienced. I feel like you get a different feel and experience when they do a movie.
Right, because I feel like I've noticed a lot with commenters, and I kind of used to feel a certain way too about dramas, how, they don't do this and we thinking that, it's just how Korean entertainment is on a whole.
Right.
It's not. If you haven't watched any Korean movies, especially like horror ones or even romance ones, you need to watch those because they don't do justice to how we see romance portrayed in dramas.
Right.
They have a little bit more freedom when it comes to movies, of course, because it's on a bigger screen and all that stuff.
It's more paid. It's not on one of those channels where you just turn the TV on.
Right. And we have to understand also as viewers that a lot of times these dramas are on certain networks that are geared toward more family-friendly content.
Right.
So there are certain things like, I know Hong Jong-un, who was in Lucky Romance and Kill Me, Heal Me as well. A lot of people were saying, oh, I know I've seen her in dramas where she can kiss really well. And then watching her in other dramas where I'm like, you gonna move, boo-boo? Because I know you can.
Right.
So, and then I've come to realize it depends on the network and who the director is, because sometimes directors don't want the girls to go all in and kind of have them keep still. And then also if it's certain networks don't permit or allow too of a steamy of a kiss.
Right.
So that's another reason partially why I prefer dramas from, say, TVN or even JTBC, because they kind of let them actually kiss like a couple will actually kiss.
Yeah, the dramas from JTBC, JTBC, they seem to be more movie-like to me.
Right. So there's definitely, we gotta, as viewerships, and if you're new to K-drama, you have to kind of gauge it with that at times.
Right.
Sometimes it is the actress or the actor, but sometimes you also have to kind of know that.
Right. So.
Yeah. So we actually have another actor that we.
The angels in the heavens opened up with this one, guys.
Soji Sub is coming back to Dramaland, guys. And if you are new to our podcast, we love him. If you're not new, you know that we love him. We probably mention him every other podcast somewhat a bit about.
We sneak him in every now and then.
Right.
Whenever we can slip in Soji Sub, there he is.
Right. We love us some Soji Sub. So
like, I like milk. Soji Sub likes milk.
Right. So it was announced, and he will be doing an NBC drama. But the thing is, it does not air until the end of August. It is so far away, but so close at the same time. And his last drama was Oh My Venus.
Right.
So, and it's really not much to this. It's supposed to be a manhwa story, I guess, in a sense, but...
Is it an adaptation of a manhwa?
I think so, but it's, like I said, like with Hanji Min's drama, it's very limited information
we can get. They just want the fans to know, look out for this. Right. He's back. It's like attention, like
right
on the radio when they do that we're beeping test.
Right.
Test. This is an emergency test.
Right. So
there's an announcement like that.
And I was telling Ashley before we started recording, this kind of reminds me how it was when I found out about him doing Master's Son. And when he did Master's Son, I had not watched Soji Sub in a drama yet. So I was super excited.
Yeah, you did. Master's Son? Yes, you did. You watched him in Ghost.
Ghost was like right before that. I had finished up Ghost right before Master's Son had started, because I started Ghost and then stopped it. Yeah. I started Ghost and then stopped and then went back.
I thought I finished Ghost before Master's Son.
I finished.
Because you told me about it. I feel like we watched those way before Master's Son came out. That's how I feel.
Maybe it was. But then with Ghost, is like, I got to see him, but not see him because I saw him for the first time in Always, the movie. So I was used to him being a little bit different. He was more rough around the edges, not in acting wise, but character wise. Yeah. So, and then to see him in a romantic comedy type sense, because Ghost is not a romantic comedy
at all.
So watching him in Master's Son, I was super excited, and I got it around this same time, months apart. Around this early, right before spring hit, they announced that he was doing the drama and who the lead was going to be. And then they said, yeah, it's not airing till the end of the summer. What? Yeah, so this is definitely one we will be recapping this on this podcast, because we love us some Soji. So we don't even know much about the drama, or what's going to be, who his female lead is going to be, or anything like that. But we promise we will plan to recap this one. So hopefully in the next couple of months, of course, stuff will be coming out, and we'll try to kind of give you guys an update as well on the information that we find out about these two dramas.
Yeah, last drama he did was On My Venus.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest story. So I feel like they went real relaxed after a while on it. But then because the story wasn't as good as it was in the beginning to me. It kind of dropped off, and it just kind of got lazy, and they're just like wrapping everything up instead of just being like
toward the last few
good
episodes,
continuous story. Keep going. I don't know. Anyway,
right.
But it was still nice to see Soji Sub in on the small screen weekly instead of that one time movie.
Right. So we'll be looking forward to both of these dramas in the near future. There is something I want to talk about before we get into radio romance. It is not about anybody in specifics, because at this point it's so many people coming out on this same controversy that it's frustrating, irritating at the same time. So I say within the last month or so, we've had numerous older actors being removed from dramas, movies, and such because they are being accused of sexual assault or saying something inappropriate to minors or whatever it may be on set. And it's kind of started this whole Me Too movement in South Korea. It's here in the U.S. as well, when they had what's his name, Harvey Weinstein or whatever his name is. And it started that whole movement, all these actresses coming about these men who are doing all this inappropriate stuff to them, and they kind of have not said anything because these men have some type of clout or power. Right.
They've got money.
Right. And it's kind of
in the U.S., a lot of them have money.
Right. And a lot of times, what are the victims for these men are saying that the reason why they weren't saying anything before is because they felt, he's my sunbae, or he has power. Some of these actors that are getting accused of this are professors at colleges. Yeah. So, and it's numerous and a lot of dramas have to go through a lot of reworking in the next couple of weeks because these actors have to be removed. I think 2 of them that were recently cast in dramas to start airing next month, and they have to be removed. And I'm not gonna.
How are the writers gonna do that though? Will they have to film all those again, like the scenes and the trailers and all that kind of stuff? Or are they gonna like work it into where he like dies or something? Somebody replaces him. Then that just messes up the story. I feel like. Change up the villain or the protagonist. Right.
One drama, Cross, already started airing, and the actor from that, I'm not gonna mention his name. You can go look it up if you want to know who he is. The writers have already said they're removing him from the drama, trying to edit out whatever parts he may already have taped, because they don't want to cause any harm to any viewers or the victims or anything like that. Right. So, and the actor usually plays villains. I don't know if he is a villain in this drama because I haven't started it yet. But they have already said they're reworking and finding a way to get him cut out at least at the most by episode 12. And I think they're on 8 or 9 right now.
Oh my God.
So they're already trying to reduce his screen time now, and then making sure that by episode 12 he's no longer on screen. So, and it's a couple other ones that are out there, and it's, at this point, I'm just waiting for the next day for more news to come out, because at this point, it's like every other day, another actor is getting accused of this. So it's disheartening, but I'm proud of these victims for coming forward, because it needs to be known. Yeah. And I feel like it's something that's a hidden secret, like how it's a hidden secret here in America. It's probably a hidden secret there in South Korea, that it needs to come out. Yeah. So that's the end of that topic. And well, if you have any more information about Soji Subs or Hanji Min's drama, please go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. Right. And just to do a quick mention, I want to give a quick shout out to, Starry Night 45. She left a comment on our last podcast about, who do we mention? We mentioned the actor that we both said we didn't really care for, that was in, I'm sorry, I had closed out the comment. I meant to leave it up.
No, she didn't. It was, sorry. Time Now to Watch TV.
Right. Sorry, I mixed up the commenters. Sorry. Time Now to Watch TV, right, wrote about, I'm looking for his name in the comment, because she wrote his name in the comment. I don't see it anymore. Or is it somewhere else? Did I read that comment? I can't remember. Excuse me, guys. I'm all over the place. Anyway,
Yeah, the guy who was, we're talking about Fantastic.
Right, the guy from Fantastic. Yeah, that was somewhere else. I posted the podcast somewhere else, and the person left the comment where I posted it, saying that they kind of felt the same way that we do, and that the actor has said himself that he is trying to step outside of that role of always being in that type of character, in a sense. But he's playing the bad guy again in the drama that he's in, Grand Prince, which starts this week or next week. And then Starry Night 45 also said that she loves our podcast, and it was kind of surprised that we have some low subscribers and viewers.
Low numbers.
So, Starry Night 45, thank you. We appreciate your comments and love your comments too. And same to you, time now to watch TV. And this is what we want you guys to do to join the discussion. Go ahead and leave your comments, your thoughts, anything, suggestions in the comments. We're always looking forward to reading those. So now on to our lovely review of Radio Romance. So this week was a lot of progression for our male lead. He's still a child, but he was called out on being a child by several people this week. But he finally decided to do for himself this week. And I'm proud of him for that.
Being called a child or realizing that he is
acting
like a child. That it kind of made him step up to certain things instead of him sitting back and just taking it.
Right. So we kind of continue where the kiss left off, and Gru Rim is kind of just like, oh, we were just caught up in the moment. It didn't mean anything.
She's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Let's not talk about this after. Right.
Oh my God.
And I was like, ooh, girl, ooh.
She was stunned, though. You know,
she was.
And she was, because she didn't see where it was coming from. She was like, wait a minute. I thought we were just having like we did a great job moment. I didn't know you were having like I want to kiss you moment.
Right.
Don't feel it here.
Right. In which, in a sense, it did kind of come out of nowhere because they weren't in that romantic moment.
Right.
He was in a sense, but she really wasn't there. She was just so happy that the show was a success and everything.
Right. I mean, I think he really, really wanted her to remember him at this point.
Right.
So he tried to like refresh her memory, and I just think he decided the wrong way at this moment.
Right.
And she didn't go ahead and slap him or she didn't yell at him. It just was awkward.
Right.
And on the car ride home, it was awkward. She was trying to make it unawkward, but he just made it. He was just like, "I'm not ready to talk."
Right.
So just go home. Bye.
Yeah. But bye. Let's end this. Okay. And I don't know if we really mentioned in the last podcast, but his doctor friend had a slight off-screen conversation with someone.
Right. Who we couldn't see.
And that smile that he made at the end of the conversation kind of made me wary of him now.
Right.
Because we already know that for Suho, his quote-unquote close people around him always seem to go back to his mom and report his happenings.
Yeah.
So because of that, not to say that he was talking to the mom off screen, because usually they would kind of just show that anyway, but it made me suspicious of him.
Yeah.
So
he's up to something. Or
right.
He knows more than he's letting on, and it seems like as if he's treating, what's that, Suho, like a puppet.
Right.
Like he's playing with him. He's toying with him.
Right. Like he keeps saying he's his friend and that he wants to help him overcome whatever he's dealing with. But then that off-screen, that conversation just threw me off.
Right.
And I'm just like...
And it could have been taken in two different ways, but the way that the director cut it to
right.
play, it just seemed like it wasn't like that. It was really supposed to be like a baddie who we think is a goodie, but he's not. Yeah, he's really a baddie.
And I'm hoping he's not. I'm just hoping that we just misunderstood that scenario.
Right. It could be he's still playing him like a puppet a little bit, but he's
doing it for good reasons.
Right, so he can open up.
Right.
His medicine that he doesn't know. He said, put like your Auntie Laverne used to do this to me. Put my carrots, chop them up, put them in my rice.
Right, so you
I
wouldn't
eat it because I hated carrots as a kid, and so I hated vegetables basically. And she'll mix it up in the rice, or you put medicine in juice for kids, something like that, so they don't know he's a kid. So he has to medicate him that way.
Right. And because my thing is, I look at it this way: if he is really not on Suho's side, then it's just like, damn, he really doesn't have anybody in his corner at this point.
He doesn't. Well, his manager, who his mom keeps saying he fired, and I think the manager is on his side, but he's still. I feel like the mom must have something on him. Because for him to be that loyal to her, even though he's pleading with him and stuff like that, I just feel like it should be more.
I feel they need to explain
like
that dynamic has to be explained by the end, because I feel like you're giving his manager more room. I'm not ready to give him room yet, because I'm just like, he calls you hung and you see that he's hurting,
right?
But you're still, no matter what, going back to his mom, reporting every little happening, and I'm just like.
Well, maybe it started out that way and they've gotten closer recently, but he doesn't know how to stop telling the mom at this point. He's like, I want to be your friend, but at the same time, this is the job that I signed up for, and I don't know how to back out of it.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know.
And obviously, he's been with him for a while because, can we cuss?
We've done it before.
Oh, bitch face, whatever her second girl, who
Jen Teddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her. He knows her.
Right.
And
they all know
her.
her.
Crush her on her.
Right.
And I feel like she popped up out of nowhere in the beginning. And I feel like she was gone, but then she came back. So that means that he's been a manager for Suho for a while.
Right.
If you knew her. And they knew each other when they were kids.
Right. At least for the mere fact he was definitely his manager when the accident happened in the past with his friend.
How old is he? Because he was really
right,
young.
because Jen Terry calls him Ajashi.
I don't like that. I hate that.
And Suho calls him
I feel like they're
going
to put a love line there, but I don't like when they call them Ajashi. That's like, hey, mister, or
right, it's
sir,
true.
or uncle, and
it bothers me a little bit, but I look at it this way, because he's supposed to be older than Suho, because Suho calls him home.
Right.
But and Suho and Jen Terry are supposed to be the same age, but I'm like, how much older than them is it? But I feel like she just calls him Ajashi because he's Suho's manager and she's known him since she was little.
Could call him Mr. or whatever his name is. I feel like that's a little bit more. That's less setting you into a friend zone,
right? But I felt that way about Always, because in Always, Han Ju called Soji Sub's character Ajashi the entire time. She never called him by his name. And that bothered me. Then I'm like, y'all can't be that much older. He can't be that much older than your character in that movie for you to call him Ajashi.
She probably because his gruff voice, and she couldn't see him anyway,
True.
so she didn't know. So I feel like that's where that stemmed from. But this, maybe because when she was little, when she was younger, in her teens, however they were when they played together in the drama,
and I guess because
movie, he was the manager, and he's just like, you're a sir, you take care of him.
Right. So that's how I feel like, that's what I was saying. She got into that habit of calling him Ajashi. So even though she's older now, she hasn't transitioned into calling him Oppa, because they're still supposed to be
somebody who looks a little bit older than.
Right.
It still makes me feel weird. Like, I feel like somebody who's like 5 years my junior gonna be calling me ma'am.
Right. Don't call me ma'am. I hate that.
I mean, it happens. I'd rather kids call me that than somebody who's like in their 20s calling me ma'am.
Right. True.
I mean, it's a southern thing too, saying ma'am or sir all the time.
But we have a family friend who's like that. Like, I've known her since I was little, and I still say Mrs. whatever her name is. And she's like, you could just call me by my name now. And I'm like, it's out of habit. I feel weird calling you by your name.
Right.
So I kind of look at it at that standpoint. It's still weird because it's different from saying Mrs. whatever such and such versus Ajashi. But
I guess it translates the same way. It just feels weird coming out of her mouth. When she first said it, and I was like, right, we're not gonna do this.
But what I love though is that Suho did get new hair. So he doesn't look so palish and weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. He looks.
I don't know. I think Makia's TV is on a different setting because it was bright, yes,
right,
and the whole lipstick thing, which I don't like at all. Watching when I watch dramas is when I can tell that guys have lipstick on.
Right.
I don't care if you call it lip tint, lip balm. It's lipstick. His lips are a color that's unnatural. Anyway, when you're watching on Makia's TV, it seemed really bright. Like his hair was like freshly bleached
fluorescent
and then they put the highlighter red on it and his lip tint was very vibrant also. But then we watched it on my TV later, a couple episodes down, it was darker. Right. It was like the next episode over. It wasn't like a couple episodes in. It was the next episode over, and it didn't look as bright. Right. But still, I'm happy for the hair change.
Right. I don't know. I feel like his hair looks better with, at least for the haircut that he's keeping in the drama, it looks better with the darker hair. Yeah. Because he's had brighter hair before when he's promoting with his K-pop group, and he usually kind of has it. I don't know how to that. What is it? That 480? I don't know, whatever that number. 2080 style.
480.
Whatever.
Even equals 100.
Whatever. When he had it slit, he had it slit back like that. And what song was it?
But he's always been one of the K-pop guys are one of the guys in this group who's kept his hair the same basically since the beginning.
Same haircut, but he's changed the hair color
A couple times, but nothing too extravagant.
True. I mean, he had blonde at one point.
Yeah, but I feel like that after you go from like just keeping your hair a regular natural color, you go to blonde, and then you move on to other colors.
True. But yeah, anyway, what I did love about him in this week though is that the amount of times that he stood up to his mother, he didn't back down from her at all this entire week. And you can see her kind of flinching a little bit because she's like, I'm not breaking him. So she's going to start pulling out more stops now because her usual threats are not working on him anymore.
What were they talking about? And she pulled out the sweater and she put it down on the bed. Like, she didn't mention it. She just put it down, not the sweater, the scarf.
Right.
And she patted it. Just kind of like remind him as if it's like a
thread. Like a hidden thread.
Yeah, or what's this, a trigger? It's something triggering something.
Right.
Yeah, so I like that, but also I feel like he should have did this a long time ago. He's a very good boy. He does what he's supposed to, what he's told.
Right.
He goes to work, he does this, and he goes home. And that's it. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have a life outside of this.
Right.
And in his situation, from the way what we know of him growing up, you can either go his route and just be a good boy and listen to it and be like a puppet.
Right.
Or he can be one of those that lashes out all the time and she can't control him.
Right. And I wouldn't say he's lashing out all the time now. He's just kind of making his stance known, like,
right,
I'm not the little boy that you can control anymore.
Right. He's not lashing out now, but he's more just like, I want to do my own thing. I've
Right.
listened to you. I'm a grown up now. Thank you.
And he's kind of said that. He's like, he said, I've done your thing for quite a while. Now I want to do it my way.
Right, right.
And I feel like at this point, he's clearly supposed to be mid to late 20s at this point. You still going to try to control him all the way in his 30s too, woman? But yeah, and he keeps trying to talk to Gurim, but after the whole scenario, because she kind of avoids him after the kiss situation.
Yeah.
Like, she kind of just diverts her eyes when in the room, trying not to talk to or look directly at him. And he's kind of like, can we talk?
Right, so at first, he was really awkward with it. She was just like, can we talk about this? Say something, anything.
Right.
He's like, I'm not ready right now.
Right.
But then, when he was ready, she was just like, okay,
she's had time to think about it.
Awkward.
Right, I'm awkward now. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's keep this.
Which leads him to actually finally going to get his own cell phone.
Right.
Which is kind of funny because when it comes down to filling out the paperwork for the cell phone, he can't do it. He has to call his manager.
Right. And I don't think it's that he didn't know his information. It's just that if he put his information down, people would know. It was
right.
him.
I know. I wasn't saying it as that he didn't know his information. Is that he didn't know. Should he put down his information or should he put down something else? That type of thing. And, but he got his own phone. And, of course, the first person he calls is Gurim.
And he knows her number by heart. He's
and
like, I know this.
Right. So, I like that he got a cell phone for her and that he's only basically really going to be calling her.
Right. There's nobody else he wants to talk to.
Right. So, and then he eventually gets her to come to his place to talk about the script. That's what he uses as an excuse. Don't we need to talk about the script for the radio? We all know he just want to see her at this point.
Since when did you want to talk about the script this much?
Right.
When I sent you the script in the first place, you didn't read it. Remember that? But now you want to talk about it?
But I think after the radio show that they did with the kids, I think he's at that point now where he's going to read her scripts now.
Right.
And then also because I feel like he's decided to push forward with how he feels about her. Even if he's kind of weird about it, he's still going to go forward with what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And the mom kind of comes and interrupts, as she always does. And I'm like, that's my thing. Like, y'all can't change y'all passcodes to y'all house? Like, you don't live with her. She easily just walks in. At this point, you can't just change it. Because I've noticed this with quite a few dramas. So your mama just walking in. Change your passcode. What's she going to... Unless she... Well, she might be paying for this one.
But so she gets all his money, you think? He doesn't have his own...
I feel
she
like
puts him on an allowance or something?
I feel like that's what it is. She probably puts him on an allowance. But
Bruh,
because she
you make too much effing money to be on an allowance from your mother.
Right, because you notice how when it came down to the contract for the documentary they're supposed to be doing, she has his stamp. She signed up and did his stamp.
Bruh.
So it's like she really doesn't have control. So if he doesn't...
First off, if you want to get away from your mother, be in control of your own finances.
Right. He's got to do something about that. So, I don't know. And, you know, Gurren tries to get out of it and leave the house and try to act like, oh, no, we're just talking about this. And he's just like, he's just sitting there quiet. And he ups and leaves and takes her home. And she's like, no, just go back into your mom. He's like, I really don't want to go back home.
Right. Please let me drive you home.
Right. And then the mom meets with Terry or whatever to discuss her going forward with trying to push this whole relationship with Suho. And then
that's a cliche. I really don't.
Right. And then the dad's mistress walks in and kind of like begs the mom to give all her CFs and everything back. And I'm just like, my thing that came to my mind is like, hold up, chick. You are dating this woman's so-called husband. You didn't think she was going to retaliate some kind of way? She got so much power.
Right. Was she retaliating because that's her husband's sugar baby? Or because whatever her Terry is threatening her, and so she didn't know any other way, but just because she knows you don't like her, I'm gonna just give you her stuff.
Right. I think it's both. I think she's
getting her cake and eating it too.
She's like, she didn't do much before because she don't love the husband, but she was like, okay, she needs to win-win out of scenario.
Why the F? I don't care what your situation is. Why would you let the girl who's smooching on your husband behind your back, allegedly, be in a drama with your son? Allegedly
your son, because at this point, I still don't believe she's his birth mother.
Right, that's true. And she'd be under your management company for CFs and dramas and advertisements. Right. What the F?
Right,
how twisted are you?
That's why I said I usually don't care about Chaebo's backstories, but I really want to know what led this family to live this type of lifestyle. Because they are completely fake. The son doesn't love the parents clearly don't love him, and they clearly don't love each other. So why are we putting on this fake persona that we're this big loving family? Yes, you're getting money, but really, this is the life you want to live for the rest of your life? Because his mom
is tiring.
Right.
She have like an ulcer or something.
Right. And he says it, I think, in the next episode. He's kind of like, he tells her in the elevator, and he was like, aren't you tired of living this way? I'm tired of living this way.
Right. Stop forcing us to live this way.
Right. And I'm just like, what is he?
Stop forcing me to live this way.
Right.
Wow.
So, and then the writer for the other radio show is still trying to find her way in to kind of get Gurren fired because of the mom sponsoring her or whatever.
Right.
So she steals Gurren's script thinking that it's going to mess up the show, not realizing that Suho has memorized her script at this point.
Right.
And I like that it kind of came back to her because she thought, oh yeah, if I take the script,
right, I got it.
They're going to be screwed.
Right.
No, he's an actor and professional like that. So you didn't think he was someone.
Even if he wasn't an actor and a professional, whatever.
Right.
He likes the shit out of her, so he's gonna memorize
everything.
She
right.
Writes. Because after the whole, I think he didn't. It's not that he didn't like her scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they were awful. He was probably just like still get back at her like a teasing thing.
Right.
And I thought I'm still pretty pissed about him just skipping over her or stuff like that and not mentioning it.
Yeah.
But he likes her, and so anything she writes at this point is really gonna be like etched into his memory.
And the other writer doesn't know that at this point. I mean, she probably will eventually find this out, but then, right? Because if she probably had known that Suho likes Gurren, she probably would have went a different route.
Yeah. Well, what could you do? Try to make her look bad to him? Not possible.
Right. I don't know. And the PD kind of snaps at Gurren in the moment because when he finds out that the other writer took her script or whatever, and is kind of showing it off to all the other assistant writers at the company, I'm just like...
Wasn't she making fun of her? Or what was she saying?
She was kind of like, didn't I tell you guys this about, taking care of your scripts and all that stuff and, how to not have it just easily be able to get taken by someone. And then it was her only copy. Right. It was handwritten. Like, you don't have no backups or nothing. And it's just like, this is what writers are not supposed to do.
That's not professional.
Right.
How are you a lead writer and you're doing that? I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense, but how are you a lead writer and being that petty?
It'd have been different if she was doing it to teach her a lesson. She was doing it to be spiteful and to really throw her under the bus.
Right. And that's the thing that bothers me about the PD. Like, I understand he's standing up for her. And I guess it's his way of mentoring her. But he always snapping at her back. Like, why are you And
I hate that. I've seen that a lot in dramas.
Right. He's like saying, like, don't make you going to be a writer for my team, such and such. And, my writers are not going to be so easily manipulated or making feel like lose. Right.
He's basically just like, why are you just standing here not saying anything and letting them talk bad about you to your face? They have your script in hand and they're laughing and cackling. How are you going to be my lead writer for my show? I especially chose you, but you can't stand up to these people right here.
Right.
And I understood him on that sense, but the way he went about it was terrible.
You're right. I was like, I understand he's mentoring her and the words he's saying make sense, but how he's going about it, it was like, really?
Right. And I think he wasn't helping the situation for her.
In that moment.
How she was feeling, how she was looking in front of these people. Thanks.
Right. And Suho even mentioned it. I don't know if it was in this week's episode or was it last week. He was like, he said, why does my words don't touch a girl, but the way, say, the PD is talking to her will make her feel touched or, get to her heart.
Emotions.
Right. And I kind of feel the same way, too. Like, granted, they both say some harsh things to her, but I'm just like, neither.
But they're on a different level, though. And I definitely know Gurim doesn't like the PD like that.
Right.
So she takes his word to heart because
she definitely looked at him as a mentor.
Right. He was somewhat of a mentor before he left for sabbatical, and he came back, and he chose her as soon as he got there. So she respects him as professional.
Right.
And so I guess his words can really sting her in a way. Mm-hmm. But Suho's can't because he just seems like a real spoiled child actor.
Right.
And I think once she starts really liking him, his words will affect her.
Right.
He doesn't realize that, though. I don't know why he thinks that she's just supposed to remember him and like him all like the same like it was back then.
Right. And that's another thing.
Catch up, guy. We're like 10 years in the
right. Film. And the flashbacks don't help because in all the flashbacks, she doesn't see his face. And then even when she has a chance to see his face, she's like, no, can I just remember you like this? So she never got to see.
Did he say that? He said that, or did she say that?
Oh, right. Yeah, she was trying to see him.
Yeah,
and
he was like, just remember. I wonder why, though.
Because I think he was known by then.
Oh.
I think he was.
That's why he's walking around in that long coat. It's like a thing. The turtleneck and a long coat.
Right.
When they're rich. And
because the accident
outside.
happened at that point, and I'm assuming he may not have been as big of a star as he is now, but I think at that point he was a known actor.
Right.
Or known enough. So, and she kind of still spends most of this episode not really talking to him outside of the radio show discussion stuff.
Right.
And she's still avoiding his calls, even though she knows that it's his number now. And she gets invited to Terry's birthday. Is it her birthday party or is she just having a party?
Yeah, I don't know. She was having a bitch party.
And this is supposed to be her announcing, in a sense, her relationship with Suho. And
she doesn't get to.
She doesn't get to. And she invites Gurim to the party. And at this point, we know what she's doing because she knows that Suho at least has a thing for Gurim. And I don't think she believes that Gurim has feelings for Suho, but I think she's trying to be like, yeah, so, me and Suho are dating just in case she has any ideas.
Right.
And kind of tells...
Even though they're not. And Suho has no idea about this.
Right. So, right after she tells Gurim this, she ends up running into Suho as I think she's leaving the party and he's getting there or whatever. And he pulls her aside to talk to her and kind of tells her the confession, basically.
But I like you.
Blatantly.
I like you.
Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He basically says, I like you.
Right. I like you.
And she's just like, what? And it's kind of
weird. It was obvious. It was blatantly obvious.
It was.
After the kiss. At first, I could see because she's like, you tricked me.
Right.
You're mean to me. You made me do servant stuff. Basically, drive you around, blah, blah, blah. And you don't even follow my scripts. How do you like me?
Right. And then it doesn't help that she's hearing this like literally 5 minutes after Terry's telling her that we're dating.
Right. She's like, no, you have a girlfriend. I think I'm good.
Right. You're an actor. I'm a writer. We're in two different ballparks here. It's not really going to work out this way, sir. So, no. But, yeah, episode 8 was... I don't know. I liked episode 8 better, but the ending irritated me.
I don't remember ending, but okay.
Gurun's mom ends up at the hospital because she passes out or something of that nature.
Exhaustion.
Right.
Overworking.
Right. And she's trying to call everybody. The PD is not answering his phone. And Suho happens to be outside of her house, and I guess he's trying to talk to her again after the whole confession
Right, he was
scenario.
calling her, but she was calling other people, so it was busy. But then he finally got through.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh my God, come help me! My
Right.
mother fainted."
So he ends up getting her into the hospital, whatever, and then also getting her mom into a nicer room.
Right.
But then it's the Suho's entertainment company. His mom basically puts out
his mom's puppet.
Right. Basically puts out that, Suho is going to go overseas to do some filming once he's finished up with his radio show. Basically saying that he's about to be done with his radio show after 3 or 4 parts.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so the people at the radio station are just like, what?
We didn't know about this.
Right. And the PD's like, we didn't discuss this. Let me go talk to my DJ first.
Right. Before I start ranting and raving with you.
Right. So that's what I love. And Sue kind of tells him, like, why do I keep having to finding out about my schedule through the news? Why am I not being told directly?
Right.
And his mom was like, well, just quit the radio. No. Like,
how about you stop scheduling me for stuff I did not agree to?
Right. That's like, why do we keep having the same conversation, chick?
Right. Like, she's still using her same tactics instead of trying to find something else to get him out of the radio show.
Right. But the scene that I loved is when the PD went to meet the mom. And he kind of talked to her, and it was kind of, in his own way, kind of was snapping back at her. And I liked it so much because she was kind of saying, oh, well, this and that and other. And he was like, no, that's not my DJ. And, I was like, yes, go ahead, bro. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And he kind of stood up to her in his own way. And she kind of, he would diss the art that was in the area that they were in.
Yeah, I thought it was bad too. I was like, what is this? This bright stuff, that's this highlighter stuff on this white wall. I don't know, it just didn't work. I don't know. I don't say I know special art and all that kind of stuff, but that didn't look like something should have been in the gallery. Just saying. Shout out to the artists.
Right. So, but they kind of spend most of this episode in the hospital, and it kind of leads to Gurum kind of remembering who Suho is. Right,
because her and her mom were reminiscing, and she was like, remember your first love?
Right.
She's like, oh, Mom, why'd you bring that up? We're in the hospital, can't remember.
Right.
No, did she say, did the mom say first love, or did she?
No, the mom said first love.
Because I know they were remembering. She was like, remember when you did the lessons?
Oh, yeah, she was saying, like, remember when I did the lessons, but then the mom brought up the first love.
Okay.
And she kind of just tried to laugh it off or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then she started to remember certain things. And that's what it started hinting at her that some of the stuff Suho said.
Right.
So she's kind of finally deciding to talk to him. And she's trying to figure out what to do. And she doesn't know exactly how to text him or exactly what to say to him in the text. And here comes the friendly doctor, and he was like, you want to know about Suho, don't you? Why don't you ask me? Let's go tit for tat. Let's share her questions.
And it really wasn't like that, though.
It really wasn't, but okay.
I mean, I feel like they didn't share much information.
Right, at least the scene didn't show them sharing much information.
True. They might show a flashback later of her finding out other things from him that she just didn't mention.
Right. So she ends up finally figuring out who he is and goes to meet him. And they kind of have this almost childish in a sense conversation, but it was lighthearted in a sense. We kind of got to see how their chemistry really worked in that moment, because she finally remembers who he is. So she's not coming at him as just a writer. She's kind of coming at him as an old friend that's like, why didn't you tell me earlier? Right. Or why didn't you do this? You
told me it was you.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
We've known each other since forever.
Right. So I love that. And it kind of shows a different dynamic now. And they have a moment where he kind of act like they're running from reporters, and he pulls her into the room.
Yeah. And I'm not even gonna lie. At first, when I first saw this couple together, I was just like, okay, whatever.
Right.
But this is when I really felt like a little flutter. Not a lot, but it was just like,
yes. Because I mean,
just a quick,
because there's sometimes I go into dramas like, okay, they can work, but it doesn't always make my heart flutter.
Right.
And I was worried about this one too. But I was like, in that moment, I was like, oh,
blush.
Right. Oh, they're cute. So I'm definitely looking forward for her feelings to progress, because we already know His has been there since day one.
Right. Even though he shows it in a really weird way.
Ways. But I feel like he's definitely, we got to see in episode 8, he's definitely gonna be more upfront about everything now. And he's been reading the PD since day one as well. Mm-hmm. And this is why I said the ending kind of irritated me, because... But I feel like the way that we have to wait and to see how the next episode starts, because he, at the end of the episode, I know we're going back and forth between episodes. At the end of the episode,
at the end of which
8,
right,
right.
How are we going back and forth?
I mean, back and forth in moments in the episode, because this is at the very end.
Right.
He notices how the PD is taking care of Gurim, because at this point she's gotten sick, or has a cold or something of that nature. And he's kind of like, if he says to the PD, people will misunderstand that you like her. And then the PD says, but it's true. I do like her.
But I don't think he meant in that sense.
Right. And that's why I was like, that's why we have to wait and see how that next episode starts.
That's why you didn't like the ending?
Right. No, because I don't feel like the PD is liking her in that sense.
But you know they're going to drop it off at that point. It didn't bother me. But I liked how Suho was sitting back and just kind of watching. He was about to give her jacket, but the PD gave it to her.
Right.
He was about to say, you need some medicine, but the PD was like, go in my bag. And she was like, oh, I don't need anything.
Right.
He was like, I'm taking my medicine. Oh, here, you take some too. It'll be good for that cough. Just kind of be a slide.
Right.
And I feel like he knows how she is, how she would reject like somebody's help like that. Mm-hmm. And so he's kind of like sliding his help into there. Being supportive. I don't know if I see, unless he's just, I don't know. I don't get that vibe from him anymore. At first I did, but I think that was maybe because he was mad and he was like, she doesn't deserve this.
Right. And like I was more into the possibility of him liking her when it was at the end of episode 4 after the whole radio scenario.
Right.
But I didn't feel it at the end of this one.
Right.
So I was like, if they played up that he's really supposed to be liking her, I'm going to be irritated because I'm not feeling it at all, period.
Right.
So I'm hoping and I'm praying that it's just he likes her, but not in that sense.
It reminds me of the only time, I'll say, it was the only time, it probably is the only time I ever got second lead syndrome. Mm-hmm. And that was Flower Boy Next Door. And I like the second lead. I did not see the chemistry. I didn't feel the chemistry between the first lead. So when he was like, I like you, I was just like, what?
And that's one drama where I didn't get any syndrome. I didn't get second lead. I wasn't feeling the main couple neither.
That. Oh, yeah. I mean, I liked the second lead more just because I wasn't feeling it from the first lead. Right. And then I like the side couples more than...
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So that's how I'm feeling with this. I feel like he's the flower boy next door, the PD.
Right.
And Gurim is what's her name's character
Dokmi, I think was her name.
Yeah. So I'm just like, why?
Right. So I don't know. It's just, but Suho seems to know. Granted, we figured he knows stuff about her, but what I loved is that she also brought up, how do you know where I live? How did you know where I live?
Stalker. I followed you home one time. What?
She called him a stalker and a child all in the same conversation. Because she also asked him why he tripped her years ago.
And I didn't like the person you were talking to.
And I was like,
what?
We all at the same time. We were all of us, Gurim and us two said at the same, are you a child?
What?
Like, you couldn't have a better reason than you just didn't like the guy she was talking to?
He was upfront with it. I didn't like who you were talking to. Boom.
I was like, are you 5? No, you're my friend. You can't talk to nobody else.
No, man. No.
What, 3?
3-year-olds don't do that. I don't know about how old he is, but that is an insult to 5-year-olds. That was ridiculous.
But I don't know. I'm just looking forward to what's to come next week. Yeah. And of course we did not get a preview.
Yeah.
But
they want to leave you on a cliffhanger, and I know he's gonna say, I like her. She's my lead writer or something like that. I feel like that's what they're gonna go.
I hope so. I really do. But
because I don't think he would confess. Even if he does like her, that's a terrible way to confess. Somebody just ask you outright, and in a group of people, you're gonna say, yeah, I like her. And when she don't know if you like her or not. No, sir, you're too old for that. That sabbatical did not help you if that's what you're saying.
But remember I said the maturity level of a lot of people in this drama is not for their age.
You're right.
Gurim is probably the only one that has her maturity level for her age. Right. Because his mom clearly don't have it. Terry clearly don't have it because she acting out because she doesn't want to lose her fame. And my thing is, I said, you don't want to lose your fame, but I'm like, boo, how about you try to get some acting jobs instead of trying to tell everybody, I'm the child star. You only bringing up your childhood drama.
She hasn't done anything.
Right. How you gonna keep fame if you haven't done anything?
She should have just been like, I took a break and now I'm back or something. Kind of gloss it over. You can tell she hasn't been in the limelight because she's doing that BS.
Right.
She don't even know how to act in front of the camera.
Right, because she picks a fight on set so easily. I'm like, girl, that's probably why you not getting dramas, because you have...
Like, no, we don't feel like dealing with it.
You have a stuck-up attitude and believe that you're entitled because you're a child star. And so anytime anyone doesn't treat you as such, you act out.
Right.
This is why you don't get any respect in the industry, because you act out like that. And you're supposed to be an adult at this point. If you're a child star, they're like, okay, she's a child, she'll grow out of it. You was a grown woman and you still acting like this? Mm-mm. So, I'm hoping that, like I said, it's not like real feelings for her and it's just something along the lines of respect and not anything more.
Right.
So, that is the end of it for our radio romance commentary recap.
Yeah. And on to our game.
Right. So we're going to do a quick little game to end it off. So
this game is kind of like our smash or pass. But what we did is I went on Makia's MDL and she went on mine. And we both picked some dramas out of our
on hold list.
Off of each other's on hold list. And we're going to, instead of smash or pass, because we can't smash or pass,
right,
a drama, or on hold dramas, we're going to love it or leave it.
Right. And this, I guess, in a way, it helped us kind of clear out our on hold list just a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit. So, you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. So, this one is one that I actually, when I looked at her list, I was like, you hadn't finished this one? I swore she had finished this one. The Princess Man.
Oh. What episode am I on? Like 20 or 24?
20 of 24 episodes. She got 4 more episodes to finish this drama and just still on her on hold list. Why is it on hold?
It got to a point where it was just like, it was exciting but nerve-wracking at the same time. But then I wasn't really like feeling it because I felt like she was throwing herself into a fire. A fire pit.
And I've heard good stuff about this drama.
Really,
too,
and I wasn't sure how it was going to end. It's just, it was either going to end like real fluffy, and I'm like, if it was back then, that's not how that shit would have happened. And I want you to stay, I know, and it's not a fantasy, so I wanted to stay true enough to that time period.
Right.
And I wasn't feeling that, so I was just like, let me take a break. And I think I probably started some other things at the same time, so I lost interest. I don't know if I'll go back to it. It's only 4 episodes, but it's like, do I really want to sit through those episodes? I don't want to be forced, because if I'm forced, I won't pay attention.
Right. So, love it or leave it.
Leave it. I mean, it was good, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm not missing anything.
Okay. You could probably read some recaps of the last 4 episodes, honestly, to figure out what happened.
Where?
Drama Beans probably has it.
That's old.
They have old dramas. They have.
What year did the Princess Bride? What is it?
Princess Man.
Princess Man. Something.
See, she don't even remember the name of it completely. It's probably at max maybe 5 years old. No, maybe more than that.
Well, I'll look it up.
No, because that's the thing. Drama Beans has dramas from Drama Beans been running for quite a while, so they might have it.
Yeah, but will they still have it in their like archive or something?
They have an archive.
Oh, okay. See, I don't use Drama Beans like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the first one is this one, which I thought you finished because you were talking about it. High School Love On.
Oh, right.
Right. But when she looked at my list, she was like, oh my God, you didn't finish this yet?
I've been actually thinking about this one lately. I'm tempted to very much leave it. Because
you were talking about it for a while when you were watching it, but then I was like, when I saw it, I was like, no. She forgot to put finish complete on this. Had to be.
No, I made it through the first quarter of the drama. I really mainly started it because of one of the guys from Infinite is in it. And I think with that one is when I really started to realize that I was over high school dramas.
Yeah.
And it's the story, not that the story was bad, but it's a lot of
petty and back and forth.
Right, a lot of high school drama stuff that I really not
It's a high school drama.
Right, it's the bullying and stuff. I wish high school dramas wouldn't always have to feel the need to go through the bullying topic.
Yeah.
I want them
but
to.
That's when people get bullied the most is in high school. You might get a different type of bullying, but I think the older you get, the more you can stand up against it.
Right, and I feel like if I just got past a few episodes of where I'm at, I'll probably be able to finish it. But I'm gonna have to say leave it because it's been so long since I was watching this while it was airing. That's the sad part about it.
Wow.
So
what was that? 2010?
No, it's not that old. It's not that old. But yeah, no, and actually I watched the female lead from that drama. I watched her in another drama since then. I just haven't gone back to that one because of the high school story of it. So yeah, I'll say leave it. All right, so my next one is actually not a Korean drama.
Oh.
It's The Imperial Doctress.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna answer. I'm going to leave it.
Really? Because isn't Wallace Ho in that?
Yes, Wallace Ho and
Wallace Ho is bae, and I've only watched Wallace Ho in one drama.
And Cecilia Liu, who I adore. She was in Scarlet Heart, and she was in some other stuff that I haven't quite finished or haven't started yet. But anyway, I started it for them, but then I realized that they probably weren't going to get together, and that's partially why I started to lose interest. And I was like, no, but I can still watch their love story because I think they're gonna have like a little fling, and then they probably won't end up together because he's the king and he's already married to somebody who she's friends with, and then he's supposed to dearly love her or something. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, I read ahead some comments. People were like, I didn't like the part where such and such happened. I was just like, I don't want to watch that happen. Even that's a spoiler. I don't want to watch that happen.
Right.
So I don't know. I put it on hold after a while because I didn't go back to it. I think that's a leave.
Leave it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow. Because I remember when you were like, anytime I see anything with Wallace Ho, I'm like, Ashley, new drama for Wallace Ho.
Right. And I don't know if I just didn't love his character in that either.
Sometimes that could be it too, because you may love the actor or the actress, but you don't like their character.
Yeah.
So, because I know there are some actors that I love, but I don't love all of their characters.
You know what it is? He was in love with her, the doctor, even though he was married, and people were like, he's married. I'm just like, he's the king. He can do whatever he
know
wants.
How many kings in the past had many wives? That's historical.
But I think it bothered her because she was really good friends with his wife. So even if she had like a mini crush on him, I don't think it would go ahead because she already fell in love with somebody. I thought it was going to be her first love. She's going to move on. Kind of like in Scarlet Heart, but
yeah.
Whatever. That's a leave.
Okay. So what's the next one for me?
Oh, okay. Whew, I got into it. Now, this isn't a Korean drama either. And I'm going to be honest. When you started this, I didn't think you were going to finish it. Because when you told me you were watching, I was just like, what?
Oh.
Ice Fantasy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was trying to think, like, what? I have an on hold that's not Korean?
Right. I remember seeing the trailer for it myself, and I was like, I might watch it. But it looks super green screen, more green screen than I prefer in my fantasy dramas.
Right.
And when you told me you started, I was like, wow. So, love it or leave it.
I'm going to love it. The reason why I put it on hold is because I was watching a lot of other stuff at the time, and it was around the time when I was kind of in my drama fatigue time, so that's why I kind of stopped watching it for a while. And then also because it was on Viki, and it was hard for the team they were getting it subbed, but sometimes it wasn't fast enough for me at the pace I was trying to watch it.
Yeah.
So I kind of backed off from it, and then before I knew it, it was over, and I'm just like, wow, damn. I still want to finish it, one, because it's my first drama from that language in that era, in that genre, I should say. And it's not that I didn't like it. I liked it, and I loved how pretty it was. And I kind of learned some stuff that possibly happened with the story because I know it's based off a book. I still want to watch it. I just have to find the right inclination to play to get back into it.
Yeah.
So, because you said it's more green screen, and it is in a sense, but I knew
very fantasy. It's
very
not quite,
fantasy.
It's not historical Chinese drama.
Right. It's very, very fantasy.
Right. It's strictly fantasy, or what they call wuxi.
Right.
where they have a lot of the action and they're flying in the air
Right.
and doing karate, all that kind of martial arts. I'm gonna not say karate, martial arts,
Right.
and that's usually not your genre to watch.
It's not, and I want to keep it mainly because it's not, and I mainly started also to step outside of my realm of the usual dramas I go
Right.
to.
It's like you didn't step right outside the line. You jumped outside.
I was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, jump.
go right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's because, and that's why I did it, because at the time of drama fatigue, I was like, okay, I feel like maybe that's why I'm going into drama fatigue, because I'm always watching the same type of story all the time.
Yeah.
So I needed something to kind of change it up for me. But I feel like if I had started it at a different time, I would have probably finished it already. So I will eventually go back to it. I plan to sometime in the next few months, because I already had it in my mind. You need to go back and finish that. So.
All right. What's my next one?
So your next one is back to Korean dramas. One that I actually recommended for you, which I'm mad you hadn't finished. Last. Do you remember? Say right. You don't even remember what it's about.
I was trying to remember because there's 2 dramas you recommended for me, and they're almost the same type of genre.
Mm-hmm.
Last is the one with the fighting. Where
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
yes, poor. Did I start that on Vicky, or did I start it on Drama Fever? Where did you watch it?
I watched it on Viki, but Drama
Okay.
Fever has it.
Right, I must start it on Drama Fever. It was good at first, but I don't know. I felt like it should have just been a movie.
It would have been a good movie. Honestly, it would have. And I guess I enjoyed it more because it's not my typical K-drama either, because I usually don't go for just fighting. And it's not like it was excessive fighting either. Like,
Yeah,
I thought it
there's
was
a
going
good deep story behind it.
Right.
Or toward in it, but I don't know. I wasn't intrigued after a while. I don't know how many episodes I got. It wasn't super far. Is it like 16 episodes?
Yeah, 16.
So I wasn't super intrigued. And I I thought about it a while ago, and I was like, oh.
I don't
I'll
know.
leave it. I think I'll leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't loved anything yet off the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Your next one is, and I recommended this to you too, just like you recommended this one to me. And I'm slightly offended that you didn't finish it.
Oh.
Miss Korea.
Oh.
I loved it. That was not my type of drama. Like, it wasn't like super good. It wasn't, super exciting.
Uh-huh.
But it was, when I recommended to people or when I reviewed it, I said it was it was more like a slice of life type drama. And that's why I enjoyed it. It was kind of mellow and just kind of watched them progress to their goal in the end.
Right.
That's why I liked it.
And
why I recommended it.
Right. And I really only started it because she recommended it, because when it first came out, I was initially excited because of the casting, but then I was like, I don't know if I'm really into the story.
Right.
And then watching it, it wasn't enough to really catch me, because I was trying to kind of force myself to watch the first few episodes, and I put it on hold because nothing gave me an inclination to go click to watch the next episode. So, and I think I've come to realize that certain slice of life type dramas don't keep my interest enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to say leave it.
Yeah.
Because even when I think back to it now, I don't remember much about what I did watch. And I don't remember anything good to come other than her just becoming Miss Korea. Because I know there's a possibility of romance because they were supposed to be past loves in high school or whatever. I wasn't feeling it.
Right.
And a lot of times that's the driving force for me to continue dramas if the story's not enough. If I love the couple enough, I can deal with the story not being fully there.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't feeling the romance of the couple even before it even really started, yeah. So leave it. All right. So the next one is another non-Korean drama, Love at 17. Oh, wow. Oh, sorry. I think I offended her by bringing that one up.
No, it had somebody in it that I wanted to watch in another drama. And a new guy that I kept seeing people like, oh my God, he's so great. And the story could have been good, but I don't know. I feel like they were really weird. Not weird. really bad with the way they're progressing the story and the characters. So I lost interest because I was just a lot of eye rolling, and I was just like,
oh yeah,
and not paying attention. So that's a leave it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Disappointed, and I didn't even finish it.
Okay.
Obviously.
So next one for me.
The eccentric daughter-in-law.
Oh wow.
Oh, you didn't even remember you put that on hold.
I did not. Because I started that because of, what's her name? I forgot her name, from the now disbanded Sistar. And I heard that it's very cliche, but it was a good quirky drama. And I mainly started because I was like, oh, it's only 12 episodes. I could do that.
Right.
But it has a lot of the cliches of some dramas that I cannot stand. The overbearing mother-in-law and the girl who acts kind of dumb. They don't really like each other at first. And I feel like I'm at that point now where I can feel like they're starting to like each other. Yeah. But
wait a minute, aren't they married already?
No. Because it's supposed to be, she's a failing K-pop star who gets cast to be like a daughter-in-law for a TV show, like a fake daughter-in-law.
Right.
But she ends up becoming a real daughter-in-law for the family because the son and her actually fall in love for real while taping the show.
Oh, so he's an actor too?
No, he's like a super smart student, doctor type who like working on his, like professor type thing. I forget exactly.
But she's doing it for a drama.
She's doing it for a reality show. It's like a reality show. It's supposed to be like a reality.
That sounds really weird.
Right. It's weird. It's a weird. That's why people say it's a weird concept in the story, but it's interesting enough. But it's there's more characters in it that I dislike already off the bat than I like. And it's not the main couple because I actually like the main couple despite her being kind of ditzy.
Dumb, yeah.
And he's a little bit of a uppity douche who thinks he knows too much. But I actually can see them growing to kind of balance each other out.
Right.
It's just everybody else around them is like, I don't even feel like watching y'all on screen. I don't want to completely say leave it, but I don't know if I want to say love it either though, because I want to go back, but I can't promise it'll be any time in the near future. Okay. All right. So this is the last one. Another one I recommended for you, which I thought you would love and finish. Punch.
Oh. And I used to love that genre, and that's mostly what I would watch. I don't know. I think I would love it if I kept going. So I'll say love it.
Okay.
Eventually, I'll go back and keep going and watch it. But I don't know. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, and I barely remember it.
Right. Punch.
I think at the time I was just being really fickle with my dramas. I wasn't in a drama funk. I was just being fickle. Yeah. So.
See, Punch is a drama that was airing at the same time as Healer, which if you don't follow my blog.
Oh, and that's probably another thing. I started watching Healer because you kept talking about it.
Right. Healer and Punch were airing at the same time, and Healer was doing really good in the ratings. So was Punch. But near the end of its run, Punch started beating out Healer.
Oh, word?
Right. So that's why I started Punch, because I think Punch was about halfway or almost halfway done when I started it.
Yeah.
And I got almost caught up before its end. And Punch is definitely not a genre of dramas I go to.
Yeah.
So, Kim Ah-jung is in that, who was also in Live Up to Your Name. And this is my first time watching her in a drama. I've watched her in a few movies, but this is my first time watching her in a drama. And I liked her in this, but it focuses more on the male guy, which is Kim Rae-won. And it was my first time watching him in a drama as well.
Yeah.
He's the anti-hero, and I guess that's why I liked it, because he wasn't trying to be good.
A typical hero,
right?
He was doing the good thing, right? Because he's a good guy and he's doing the right thing,
right?
For the right reasons,
right? And he stayed. And what I loved is that his character stayed true to himself to the very end. He may have had choices that he regretted, but he said he made those choices in that moment for a reason, and he stayed true to himself all the way to the end. And I loved that about it, because they didn't try to make him all of a sudden be like, oh, okay, I see my wrongs and my ways, I need to completely do a 180 and change up. Right. He knew the wrongs of his ways, but he used his bad ways to still get what he needed to fight against the bad guys.
Well, don't tell me all of it. I said love it. I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, you can tell that in the synopsis what I just said.
So, okay. One more.
All right. Sorry.
Trying to cut it off. Tomorrow with You. I was gonna say Bubblegum, but I wouldn't even tell you to love it. So
Oh.
tomorrow with you.
I'm tempted to say leave it.
Oh.
Because I liked it, but when I stopped watching it, I kind of started seeing reviews and people were saying certain things and they didn't like how it ended.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hindered me from actually going back.
But
to
sometimes
it.
I don't follow that because sometimes people just want it to end one way.
Right.
And I hate when they go to a typical ending.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have an opened ending.
Or something a little bit more realistic to the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you finished it?
No.
Okay. So, I'm gonna say
it's still
love
my
it.
still watching list, and I didn't put it on hold.
Yeah. I put it on hold just because I knew it's been too long since I watched the last episode. I'm gonna say love it just because I love Shimina and I love the male lead as well. Lord, I can't remember his name right now. It's not that the story wasn't bad. It's just what was I watching at the same time? I think I was watching Goblin. Yeah, I was watching Goblin at the same time.
Goblin's still my watching list.
I'm not even gonna get into you about that. Yeah, and so I focused more on Goblin at that time as well. But I'm gonna say love it. I'll go back. So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end our podcast here, guys. So for any of the dramas that we have mentioned in our love it or leave it list, if you watched them, give us some reasons why we should love it or leave it in the comments down below.
Right.
Give us some suggestions for other games in a sense to do.
Right.
Because
we love playing these games.
Right, because after Radio Romance ends, I'm not sure what the next drama will be recapping right off the bat.
Right.
So we got to do some things in between. And any other comments you have for Radio Romance, anything to kind of enlighten us even more. Maybe you saw something we didn't see.
Right. Tell us your little knowings and ins and out of what you see while you watch Radio Romance.
Right.
Your predictions, maybe.
And at this point, we are almost to the halfway point, or basically we're at the halfway point.
Right, it's halfway point.
Name your favorite character and your least favorite character and your favorite scene so far and your least favorite scene.
Right.
I know it's kind of a lot of stuff, but you don't have to leave all of them. If you do, it's lovely because it keeps the conversation going. But yeah, we'll end it here. So until next time, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bitch, bitch, nah. 너의 눈 Bitch, bitch, nah. 아무리 봐도 선발이 말을 안 들어 그래 눈